Well, good morning. Well, we've got a little problem here that I thought I'd try to take care of. Never done it before, but we're going to see how it works. We had a kind of a tooth problem, sort of denture failure, and I have never tried fixing dentures before, but having done quite a bit of plastic and plaster work, I don't think it's going to be that tough. So we'll see. I hope everything works out. But I'm going to try to document what I'm doing right now. So here we go. Okay, we're back. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to kind of start with these. I'm going to start with these with the teeth. I've got to align them so they don't move around while I'm making a cast. So I'm going to use this, what they call sticky wax. I'm going to find the place where they fit together really nice, and then I'm going to use the sticky wax and join them. So I'm just going to use this as a kind of a little pedestal where I'm going to try to work on them. This is my setup. This is my setup with the sticky wax. I just got a candle. And I don't know if I need this or not, but I think it'll kind of help hold the heat. So I'm going to try using the bottom of this jug, basically. So I've not seen this done before, and it was just kind of an idea I thought might work. So I'm going to try it. And also, as I say, I've never worked with a sticky wax before, so this is kind of new to me. I see when the sticky wax came, it came with a whole bunch of little pieces. I don't know if you can see it, but little pieces, big pieces. I don't think it matters if it's sticky wax. It should probably adhere to itself, so I'll just kind of see how it works. I don't really know how long it takes to set up. Looks like it gives you a little bit of working time. So I kind of heat up my sticky wax. What I'm going to do is just kind of put it along the crack. That didn't work too good. All right, so I don't see a crack on the back side any longer. I just put a little of that sticky wax along it. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a bridge on it to where it kind of will help hold it. So I've just got a popsicle stick, and I'm going to use it for a bridge to kind of hold this down. I think next time I do this, I'll probably use a little butane torch or something to get a little bit more heat. This candle is working, but it's not working quite as good as I like to see it. As I say, I've never worked with this sticky wax before, so I don't know exactly what to expect. Not the most user-friendly stuff in the world. But maybe my candle idea wasn't the greatest. It's hot, but it's not quite as much heat as this stuff seems to like to absorb. All right, we're back checking on it. This has been right at a half an hour. And you can always tell with this material, of course you can't tell from your side, but it starts warming up. So I've got a lot of heat starting to build up there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of clean this area up a little bit so it doesn't trap this so much. I can't demold it for a while, but I can kind of work on it a little, make sure that it's going to come out of there. So I'm just going to dig a little bit of this plaster off of it, chip it off around the outside. Make it a little bit easier to demold this thing. hard fast. I'm just going to let it sit now. What I'll do is I'll come back and check on it. As long as it's got the heat in it, it's setting up. But when the heat goes away, then it's about done. Like right now, it's still pretty warm. So this has been a half an hour. I'll give it about another half an hour and check on it again. Okay, I'm back. It's really only been about 10 minutes, but what I'm going to do is try to just kind of work this around a little bit, kind of pressing up on the bottom. Shouldn't take too much to get it to come loose. There. So we've done with this. So what we've done is we've got this. I've still got quite a bit of heat in it, and I'm going to let that heat completely go away before I start popping this out, because right now the plaster is in a state where it could break very, very easily, and I want to make sure that I don't break it. If I break it, I'll have to start all over again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it completely set up, and then I'm going to kind of gently work around and get these teeth to come out of the cast, and hopefully I've got a replication of the bottom of it is what I'm looking for. We'll see how it goes. But I'll come back in another half an hour, make sure it's okay, and then I'll see if I can gently get these guys out of here without breaking anything. So we will be back. Well, this is kind of embarrassing. I was filming away and ran out of space. I did my cast with my plaster. What I did was I used this little setup here, mixed it all up, kind of wrecked a spoon while I was at it because I kind of got in a hurry and forgot to wash it off. It would have been real easy just to clean it, but my wife loves this because I use her tools, and then she always ends up with new kitchen tools. But at any rate, I just used this to mix up my plaster. It was pretty easy. And then I did a pour. I did the pour into the bottom. It was actually the bottom of this guy. So it worked pretty good. It contained the plaster. Made a very nice pour, and then what I did was I just used my drywall, my little drywall saw, and I cut it up and kind of cleaned the thing up. Now, when I got done, I got my part out. So what I have left here is this, of course, is all, waste material. But what I have is I've got a real nice little mold, and my dentures fit real nice and snug right on top of them. So now that they fit good on the mold, and I can replicate it, I'm going to do a little bit more work on this mold. I've actually started working on it I used what I kind of do is kind of work these edges down a little bit and got them out of the way so that the dentures will go in and out real easy, because when they're split in half they come out pretty easy, but once I glue them, when I put them together, I want them to also come out real easy. So what's going to happen with the cast now is it's indexed. So once I grind on these, I'm going to open this gap up a little bit. So I'm going to have, one or two, maybe 1/16 of an inch or something like that, 1 or 2 millimeters of gap in there. And I'm going to rough everything up so that when I do the cast, it'll have something to bite on. And then again, when I lift it out, I want it to come out real easy, not just one side, but I'm going to want the whole thing to lift out without breaking it. And so they fit in just dandy. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, it's really going to hold it good. Gives me something to work on. So now I'm going to do a little bit more work on my mold, on my plaster, because what I want to do is I'm going to put a little coating on it. I'm actually going to coat this with lacquer, and then I'm going to put some parting agent on it, clean it up so that when I have the acrylic sticking to the dentures, I won't have it also sticking to this. I want this to release real nice. So I'm going to spend a little time cleaning this up, and then I'll get back and start working with the repair. So the next step, once I get my mold taken care of and I'm happy with it, then I'll come back and do the dinner. Then I'll do the repair and see how that goes. I'm also going to spend a little bit of time working on these edges, and you'll see right now these fit in there, and they look really nice, and there's no gap. The next time when I put this in, you're going to see a pretty good gap in here before I start my repair. So again, I had to make this mold, this plaster mold, to give some place for these dentures to index to. If I didn't do that, I'd have no way to align them, and they wouldn't fit. So it was a kind of a necessary deal. It was a little bit of work, but hey, I think we got it done. So I'm going to clean up my mess here and kind of regroup. I'm done with my plaster for now, so I'll put my plaster away, and I'll come back later and with the next step in this repair. Thank you. Okay, we're back. We've done a little bit of work on this, kind of cleaned up some edges. We've done a little work. We've cleaned up some of the edges on this, made it so that the teeth will go in and out real nice and easy without hanging up at all. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to coat this with a little bit of lacquer, and I'll probably use 2 coats of lacquer on it. So I'll get a coat of lacquer on it, let that dry up for a little while, and then probably in the next 2 or 3 hours add 1 more coat of lacquer to it. Good morning. We're sort of back. The lacquer is all nice and dried on this, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a little bit of wax to the surface as a parting agent because I'm not going to want the acrylic to stick. So I'm using a mold release wax on this. I'm going to put several coats of mold release wax on, 5-6 coats of wax. What I do is wax, let it dry a little bit, and then buff it off. And this is just to make sure that I don't get any sticking when I go ahead and put the acrylic on these teeth to put them back together. So I'll be applying wax. I could put it on fairly liberally. I want to make sure that I get it. I'm only going to be working through this center area, but I get wax on the whole thing. Now I'm going to use this little Q-tip just to make sure that I get it in all the little grooves and between all these little parts in here. There's lots of different types of release agents that you could use, but the wax has always worked pretty good for me. It's a little bit difficult getting it all smoothed down over all these little surfaces, but I just keep at it and I'll get it done. A little bit more wax on it. As I say, I'm going to do this several times. I'm just going to let this sit here, let the wax stiffen up a little bit, then I'll come back and I'll buff some more. But while I'm doing that, I want to mix and get wax on my parts, so I'm kind of wearing gloves in between processes here. The next thing I'm doing right now is I'm working down the edges. See how good you can see it, but I'm working down these edges a little bit just to kind of smooth it out so that I have a nice surface for applying. Ready to put this together. What I'm going to try to do now is go ahead and put the casting material on and put them back together. I got a dental repair kit here, and it said that it's 3 patches. I don't know if it is or not. I see 3 of these. I only see 2 packages of these, although this package seems to be a little bit. Wait a second. Oh, I see. They're folded over. 3 packages, so I've got 3 packs of this and 3 packs of that. So I'm going to kind of go at it sort of slowly what I've done is I have polished these. I've taken these and I've ground this area back some so that there's going to be a little gap in here. I cleaned it up, and also I've taken them and put them in the sink. I put a wash rag down, put this in the sink, and I used detergent soap to scrub this good. I just used dishwater dish soap, and the dish soap really works good for removing any kind of junk. So I cleaned them up good. They're really clean, nice, and I've got these little parts and pieces that I'm going to try to stick back together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount these on my plaster cast, and then I'm going to mix a little bit of material and start putting these back together. These are going to go they're going to join right here. So I'm just going to do one side at a time. When it's all together, so I'm just going to get started here. I've got several mixing caps that I'm going to use for mixing stuff up. I've got a brush, I've got a little spatula, and we'll just see how it goes. I've got all my parts, pieces, and I'm going to start moving forward, seeing how this works. I think I'll start using this first. I put a little bit of liquid in there. I'm going to stand this up so that it doesn't spill, and I'm going to start adding a little bit of powder to the liquid. Alright, so the next thing after it's set, which it is set pretty well right now, is we place it into a bucket of warm water for about 15 minutes. So I'm going to leave it on the cast. I don't think I have to move it around a little bit. I'm going to just set it in here and check the clock, and we'll give this about 15 minutes and see how she does. Well, okay, it's time to take it out of the water and see what we have here. Looks like it all set up pretty hard. It's kind of time to give it the old see if she pops loose. Pops loose from the mold. It'll be the big test. Okay, so got two pieces here. I see that I've got a little bit of cleanup to do. The inside's not too bad, which it set really nice. Set really nice on the mold and didn't stick to it at all, which is what I was hoping for. So the next thing, got some little ridges and things I'm going to have to clean up, and it feels a little bit rough, but I think I can clean it up pretty easy. We'll just see if we can smooth it down some and see what we've got. They actually sent a little sandpaper in this kit. I don't know how much of it I'll use, but might as well give it a try. Stuff's pretty darn hard. Very brittle feeling. I'll just do a little work with my files, break out some files and smooth it down. polish it up. Try it for. We got, as you see, the mold is empty. So that means that we're pretty much done with this project. So kind of see for yourself. See for yourself how this job worked out.
You should have been a dentist.
The end.